everyone, it's Joy here for Crafty Meraki, and I am going to share how I did a spotlight with patterned paper. So here's the pattern paper that I'm going to be using, the Watercolor Whimsy pattern paper, and I picked 3 patterns, a floral, a stripe, and a polka dot, but it's actually little tiny hearts that look like polka dots. But first I want to start with some cute images that I'm going to add to this card. I'm stamping up some images from the Sweet Tweets stamp set. I have got 4 birds, a little worm, and a cute little birdhouse. I'm going to be using my Olo markers, so I'm using some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. And you can see the caps there. That is going to share the colors that I'm using in the Olo markers. And I'm taking my color inspiration actually from my patterned paper. The pattern paper has some blue stripes, we have some pretty pink flowers, some green leaves, and so I decided to color these birds a really bright blue. Then we have that cute little worm, and he's going to be green, and then I'm going to add some pink to that birdhouse, and so that's going to be my color scheme for this project. I love these little birds. They're very expressive. There's 2 here that have their eyes closed. One looks like he's whistling. We have one flying. This little guy here to me looks like he's listening to something, and he's got those really big cute eyes. And then we have this little guy over here, the second one at the bottom of the little bird, and he's just a cutie. So let's color this cute little worm. I thought this would add just a little bit of humor to the card to have this tiny little green worm. And again, it also brings in some of that green from our patterned paper. Then we have our birdhouse here, and I'm taking the darkest brown color and I'm just flicking from the top down or from the bottom up to just give it a little bit of wood grain texture. So it's not perfect. I did the same thing with the medium color, and then I blended out with the light. And I'm taking that darker color and highlighting the lines for the wood. Then I want to do a little bit of pink here at the top. And then I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut out all of these cute little bird images. I'm going to tape that down with some low tack tape, and I can run this through my die cut machine. Okay, let's get to our beautiful patterned paper. I'm using some die cut circles here. This one is smaller than the one that's on my desk here. This is the beautiful flowers. It has the pink and the green. Then I want to have a larger circle die cut from the blue and white stripe. And then I am using the Meraki Moments Hello die. And this is the shadow piece. And I'm making sure when I line it up and tape it down that it's straight, because those are stripes. I don't want my stripes wonky. So I'm going to die cut that out. And then we have the 3rd die from that Hello die. There's 3 of them. I did the shadow and then the very top die. And I'm going to die cut that from that cute little heart polka dot pink and white paper. So this is going to say hello, and then we will stamp a sentiment from that Sweet Tweets stamp set. So I have die cut the hello, then I've also die cut it 4 other times from white cardstock. I'm going to adhere the layers together, and this is going to give us a nice chunky, almost chipboard like sentiment. This is really going to make this pop off the background, so this is a great way to add dimension. If you don't want to use foam adhesive, or if your sentiment is too small, just die cut layers and this will really work nicely. So I'm going to finish die cutting here. I've got my O's here. So again, 4 with the white cardstock, and then I will add my patterned paper directly on top. And then we can adhere this to the shadow piece. The reason why I didn't use the die that goes in between the shadow layer and the top layer is because I really wanted to see this patterned paper. So to me, this was the easiest way to do it. So I'm using some liquid glue to adhere down my letters, and you can see how thick they are against that background. And I just think it's so pretty. It just really makes this sentiment substantial. So I'm going to start here, or I'm going to add the L here, and then I feel like I can fit my other letters in and they will line up nicely. And I was showing you there how thick that sentiment is. Let's go with our second L, and then we have our E. So when I'm spotlighting the pattern paper, I'm spotlighting it with this sentiment, and I'm also spotlighting it with those die cut circles, and that's going to be the focal point of our card. But for the background, I am going to use a 3D embossing folder that is a floral embossing folder, and I'm going to run my A2 size piece of cardstock through that. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment that says Tweet Friend with black ink, and I'm going to trim that out with my paper trimmer. Let's adhere this card together. So this is my white A2 size card base. There is that 3D embossed background, and then I'm going to adhere my 2 die cut pattern paper circles together. And when I adhere my hello sentiment, I want to make sure that my lines are straight with the background circle that has the blue stripe. So I want to make sure all of that is lined up so it doesn't look funny. You don't want your background stripes to be crooked or whatever. I am going to center that circle in my A2 size card panel here. Then we can build our little elements around this. So those are our little birds, our sentiment, our little birdhouse, and I am going to be using some foam adhesive for dimension. I also added foam adhesive behind that hello because that gives some nice dimension. We have this cute little bird. I do end up moving him so I can add my sentiment. I probably should have added that first, but that's okay. We can slide him to the side, but he's flying by that birdhouse. And then I pictured the other 3 birds at the top using the hello sentiment as their platform that they're standing on. And to me, this kind of highlights that sentiment, which also brings your eye to this beautiful patterned paper. So this guy has foam adhesive. The bird in the center will be adhered directly to the background. And then this little bird has foam adhesive. So you have all this different types of dimension, which I really think adds interest to your card. Now I'm going to add my sentiment. This will also have foam adhesive as well. I'm going to move that cute little bird. And then this sentiment can go right there. I think it fits perfect. I'm going to tuck it under that hello sentiment just a little bit. And then again, this will have some foam adhesive. Pop that in place, and then we can add our little flying bird back down here. I just had to lower him a little bit, and we can adhere our cute little worm. I just think he adds a fun pop of color, and it's just cute that he's hanging out there on that sentiment. I'm going to add 2 layers of foam adhesive behind this bird, so he'll be a little bit in front of the birdhouse. And then I do want to finish with some gel pen highlights. I do like to add that to my little critters. I think it adds a little something extra. This little guy is going to have some little dots on his cheeks and then some highlights on his body. Those 2 birds with their eyes open, I'm going to add some little details to their cute little eyeballs that make them look like they're those little characters with those really doe-eyed eyes. And so I'm going to add a bigger dot at the top and a smaller dot at the bottom. And then this card is finished. I love how this turned out. I think it's so pretty and it's a little bit playful. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you feel inspired and I hope that you enjoyed this project. You guys have a wonderful day.